Welcome back to another exciting and informative video about the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures that might just be sitting inside your pocket change right now. Today we are going to dive deep into the history, rarity, and current market value of one of the most mysterious and talked about coins in the numismatic world. This is the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. Many collectors search tirelessly for this coin, and very few lucky individuals have ever held one in their hands. With a current market value of $76,765, this tiny copper coin could change your life if you ever find it. So let us begin our long and detailed journey into the story of this valuable penny. To truly understand the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, we first have to step back in time and look at the broader history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first circulating United States coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure. The obverse side of the coin proudly displays the profile of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse originally featured two wheat stalks, symbolizing prosperity and growth. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through many design changes, including the switch from the wheat reverse to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now let us focus on the year 1970. The early 1970s were a time of major changes in the U.S. Mint. Production numbers were high, different mint facilities were striking billions of coins, and quality control was being tested by the sheer volume of production. The Philadelphia Mint, which often struck coins without a mint mark, was responsible for huge quantities of Lincoln cents. However, in 1970 an unusual error or variety occurred that gave rise to the rare 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that we are discussing today. When we talk about a no-mint mark penny, we are referring to the fact that the coin lacks the small letter that indicates which mint facility produced it. Normally, pennies from Philadelphia in this era did not carry a mint mark. But what makes the 1970 issue so valuable is not just the absence of the mint mark alone, but rather the rarity of certain varieties and the circumstances of their creation. Coin collectors believe that a very small number of error coins slipped into circulation during this year, either due to die variations, accidental misstrikes, or extremely limited runs that were never meant to be widely released. What makes the 1970 penny so captivating is that there are multiple varieties and error types associated with this year. Some examples show doubling on the obverse, meaning the letters and numbers in the design appear to be doubled when examined under magnification. Others show unusual striking characteristics, slightly off-center appearances, or other tiny details that make them stand out. But among all these varieties, the no-mint mark coin with pristine condition and the right characteristics is the one that commands jaw-dropping prices in the collector's market. Collectors often emphasize the importance of condition when it comes to coins like this. A 1970 penny that has been heavily circulated, scratched, or worn down might still be interesting, but it will not reach the high values that pristine examples can command. On the other hand, a coin that has survived in nearly perfect condition, perhaps tucked away in a coin roll or kept safe by a lucky individual, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Professional grading services play a huge role here. When a coin is authenticated, graded, and given a high mint state rating, its value increases dramatically. This is why the top examples of the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln penny have been valued at up to $76,765. Think about that for a moment. A coin that was only worth 1 cent when it was struck over 50 years ago can now be worth as much as a brand new luxury car or even a down payment on a house. That is the power of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. Let us now take a closer look at how the market for this coin has developed. In the early years after 1970, few people paid much attention to these varieties. Coins were simply used for daily transactions and very few individuals examined them closely. It was only as numismatics grew in popularity and more collectors began studying every detail of Lincoln cents that the true value of these era coins became apparent. Auctions in the 1980s and 1990s started to showcase the rare 1970 pennies, and the prices slowly climbed. By the 2000s, with the rise of online marketplaces and global auctions, more people became aware of the potential treasures hiding in their change jars. Today, the 1970 no-mint mark penny is considered a crown jewel among Lincoln cent collectors. While millions of ordinary 1970 pennies exist, the rare no-mint mark era varieties in top condition are what fetch the life-changing prices. This creates an exciting treasure hunt for coin enthusiasts and casual hobbyists alike. Anyone who comes across an old jar of pennies or a forgotten coin roll could potentially stumble upon one of these valuable pieces. It is also important to highlight that not every 1970 penny without a mint mark is automatically worth thousands of dollars. Many are just ordinary coins struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark, and these are only worth face value unless they have some special error or condition attached to them. The key is in the details. The shape of the numbers and the date, the clarity of the letters in the phrase "In God We Trust," the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, and the presence of doubling or other varieties all make a difference. This is why coin experts recommend using magnifying tools and referencing trusted numismatic guides when examining your coins. So how can you tell if you might have one of these valuable 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies? Start by carefully looking at the date. Some of the most valuable versions show doubling in the year 1970 itself, especially on the number 7. Look closely at the word Liberty and at the phrase "In God We Trust." Doubling or unusual shapes in these letters may indicate a rare variety. Next, examine the overall condition. If the coin still has a strong luster and shows little to no wear, it has the potential to be worth far more. Finally, consider having the coin evaluated by a professional grading service if you believe it could be a valuable example. The world of coin collecting is filled with stories like this, where everyday pocket change turns out to be worth a fortune. For many people, it becomes more than just a hobby. It is an adventure, a treasure hunt, and sometimes even a financial opportunity. The 1970 no-mint mark penny is a perfect example of how small details can make a massive difference. As we continue to explore this coin's place in history, let us also reflect on what makes it so appealing. Part of it is the connection to Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most beloved presidents. Part of it is the thrill of rarity, and the idea that anyone could discover one of these coins by chance. And part of it is the growing global demand for collectible coins, driven by both serious numismatists and casual enthusiasts. If you are watching this video right now, chances are you may have a small collection of coins or at least a curiosity about what treasures might be hiding in your pocket. My advice is to never underestimate the potential value of the change you handle every day. Take a few extra moments to check the dates, look for mint marks, and notice any unusual features. Who knows, you might just be holding a coin that could change your financial future. To summarize, the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin is a rare and highly valuable collectible. Its roots lie in the long and rich history of the Lincoln cent, a coin that has symbolized American pride and history for more than a century. Its rarity stems from unusual varieties and errors produced in 1970, and its market value has soared to over $76,000 in pristine condition. Collectors cherish it for its uniqueness, investors see it as a smart asset, and treasure hunters dream of finding one in circulation. The lesson here is simple. Keep your eyes open, respect the history hidden in every coin, and never assume that a penny is just a penny. Because sometimes, that penny can be the key to an incredible discovery. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the world of the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. If you enjoyed this exploration and want to learn more about other rare and valuable coins that might be hiding in plain sight, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this video with others who might enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Until next time, happy collecting and may your change jar bring you a fortune. Welcome back to our channel, where today we will be exploring the fascinating history of one of America's most recognized and collected coins, the 1972 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. This humble copper coin that most people have passed over in their pockets without a second thought has an incredible story behind it. A story that stretches back to the early 1900s when the Lincoln cent was first introduced. And in today's video we will dive deep into the origin, the design, the minting process, the rarity factors, and the current market value of this special penny. By the end of this video you will understand why a simple 1-cent piece minted in Denver in 1972 can be worth an astounding $76,876 in today's coin market. Let us begin with the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first American coin to feature a real person rather than a symbolic image of liberty. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB originally appeared on the reverse of the coin near the bottom. This design choice created controversy, and the initials were quickly removed before being restored later in a smaller form. The penny became an instant success and was widely collected from the very beginning. By 1972, the Lincoln cent had already become one of the longest-running designs in United States coinage history. The obverse or front of the coin features the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right with the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1972. The reverse design features the Lincoln Memorial with the inscriptions "United States of America et Pluribus Unum" and 1 cent. On coins struck at the Denver Mint, a small D mint mark appears just beneath the date to indicate its origin. Now, why is the 1972 D penny so significant? The Denver Mint produced over 2 billion pennies that year, which means that on the surface the coin is not rare at all. Billions were made and billions circulated throughout the economy. So what makes this coin valuable? The answer lies in the details. First, let us talk about errors and varieties. The 1972 penny from Philadelphia without a mint mark is famous for its double-die obverse variety, where the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" show dramatic doubling visible to the naked eye. While that is one of the most famous varieties from that year, the Denver Mint issues also have their own interest. The 1972 D pennies can exhibit minor die varieties, repunched mint marks, and other striking anomalies that collectors eagerly seek. However, the true reason that a 1972 D penny can reach values as high as $76,876 lies in condition, rarity, and collector demand. While billions were struck, most were used in everyday transactions. They were carried in pockets, purses, and cash registers. They were dropped, scuffed, scraped, and worn down. Very few survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. And when we say pristine, we are talking about coins graded at the very highest levels, such as Mint State 67 or Mint State 68, with a red designation, meaning the coin still retains its original copper luster without any discoloration. Imagine finding a small copper coin from 1972 that looks like it was just struck yesterday. Sharp details, blazing red color, flawless surfaces, and no marks visible even under magnification. That is the kind of coin that excites collectors and drives the price into the tens of thousands of dollars. To put this into perspective, a typical circulated 1972 D penny that you might find in your change is worth only 1 cent or perhaps a few cents to a collector. An average uncirculated example might be worth between $1 and $10 depending on quality. But once you cross into the top grades of preservation, the value skyrockets. A 1972 D penny graded Mint State 67 red can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And a nearly perfect Mint State 68 red example has reached auction prices as high as $76,876. That is why this coin is so highly sought after. Let us look at the Denver Mint itself to understand why. The Denver Mint has been producing coins since 1906. It is one of the busiest mints in the country, responsible for billions of coins every year. With such high production numbers, quality control varies, and the chances of a coin surviving without flaws are very slim. This makes any surviving gem an absolute treasure. Now let us imagine the journey of a 1972 D penny. Freshly minted in Denver, it rolls off the press gleaming with a fiery red copper surface. It falls into bags of thousands of coins destined for banks and businesses across the western United States. Most of those coins immediately enter circulation and begin to wear down. But a few coins, perhaps set aside by collectors, bank tellers, or even by accident, remain untouched. Stored in rolls or bags and hidden away in collections for decades, these are the coins that resurface today at auctions in stunning condition. Coin grading plays a huge role in determining value. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins and assign numerical grades on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70. A grade of 70 represents a perfect coin. For the 1972 D penny, a grade of mint state 68 red is incredibly rare. Only a handful of such coins exist, and when they appear at auction, collectors compete fiercely to own them. This competition drives the price to record levels. Collectors of Lincoln cents are among the most passionate in the hobby. Many seek to build complete date and mint mark sets from 1909 to the present. Within those sets, the highest quality coins command the highest prices. The 1972 D penny in top condition is a key prize for these collectors. Owning one represents not just a coin but a piece of numismatic history, a testament to the artistry and endurance of America's most iconic coinage. Now let us talk about the broader context. The early 1970s were a period of economic change in America. Inflation was rising and the value of the dollar was shifting. Yet the humble penny continued to serve as the foundation of everyday commerce. At the time, pennies were still made primarily of bronze, which is 95% copper with the remainder tin and zinc. This composition gave the coins their rich red color when new. It also meant that by modern standards, the metal content of the coin alone would eventually become more valuable than its face value. In fact, in later decades, rising copper prices led to changes in the composition of the penny, starting in 1982 when the coin was switched to a primarily zinc core with only a thin copper coating. So the 1972 D penny not only represents a collectible rarity, but also belongs to an era when American coinage still contained a substantial amount of precious metal. This adds to its appeal for both coin collectors and investors. As we reach the deeper part of this story, let us consider the human side. Imagine an ordinary family in 1972 receiving their change after buying groceries. Among the handful of coins they receive is a shiny new Lincoln cent from Denver. They spend it without a thought. It passes through countless hands over the years, buying candy, gas, and newspapers. But somewhere out there, perhaps tucked into a drawer or saved by a watchful collector, one of those coins remains untouched, waiting to be discovered 50 years later as a priceless treasure. That is the magic of coin collecting. So what should you do if you have a 1972 D penny in your possession? First, examine it carefully. If it is worn or discolored, it is likely worth only face value. If it appears shiny red and free from marks, it could be worth more. The next step is to consult a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service for authentication and evaluation. Who knows, your humble penny could turn out to be one of the rare survivors worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. The market for rare coins continues to grow as more people discover the hobby. Auctions regularly feature record-breaking prices for high-grade Lincoln cents. And with each passing year, the supply of pristine 1972 D pennies only becomes smaller, making the existing ones even more valuable. To summarize the story once again, the 1972 D Lincoln 1-cent penny is part of a series that began in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln. Though billions were minted in Denver that year, only a tiny fraction survive today in top-grade condition. Those few examples are the reason why collectors are willing to pay up to $76,876 for what appears to be an ordinary coin. This coin is a reminder that treasures can be found in the most unlikely places. It shows that history, value, and rarity can hide in plain sight within something as simple as a penny. And it inspires collectors all around the world to keep searching through their pocket change rolls of coins and family collections. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1972 D Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories about rare coins, hidden treasures, and numismatic history. Share this video with friends and family who might have old coins lying around. You never know what valuable surprises may be waiting. Thank you for joining us today, and remember, the next time you see a penny, take a closer look, because it might not just be 1 cent, it might be worth a fortune. Welcome back to our channel, where we talk about the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history. Today we are going to explore one of the most talked about coins from the modern era, the 1998 D Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, and why collectors and coin enthusiasts are going crazy about its history, its errors, and its market value, which has reached an unbelievable $89,999. This might sound shocking for a coin that is only worth $1. cent in face value, but the world of numismatics has always surprised us with such rare discoveries. The story of the 1998 penny begins with the legacy of the Lincoln cent itself. Abraham Lincoln was chosen to appear on the penny in 1909 to mark the centennial celebration of his birth. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been one of the most iconic coin designs in United States history. Over the years, the Lincoln cent has gone through changes in composition, from being made mostly of copper to eventually being produced using copper-plated zinc starting in 1982. Despite those changes, the portrait of Lincoln has remained a constant symbol of American heritage. Now let us focus on the Denver Mint, which produced the 1998 Lincoln penny. The D Mint mark represents the Denver Mint in Colorado, one of the main facilities responsible for coin production in the United States. In 1998, millions upon millions of pennies rolled out of the Denver Mint, and most of them looked identical to one another. However, in the world of coin collecting, what separates a common coin from a rare treasure is the presence of mistakes, minting errors, or varieties that slip through quality control. The 1998 penny became a highlight for collectors because of the rare varieties that emerged. Some coins displayed striking errors such as doubling in the design, misaligned dies, or unusual minting characteristics. These error coins are the ones that eventually attract high value in the collector market. To understand why a coin like this can be valued at $89,999, we must look at the principles of rarity, demand, and condition. A coin becomes valuable when very few of its kind exist, and when collectors are eager to acquire it for their personal or professional collections. When we look at the 1998 Lincoln penny, one of the most famous varieties includes the wide AM reverse variety, although that variety is more commonly associated with certain Philadelphia minted coins. Some Denver struck coins have shown features that make collectors suspect transitional dies or unusual minting processes. The wide AM variety is characterized by the spacing between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side of the coin. On the normal circulation strike of that year, the A and M are nearly touching, but on the wide AM variety there is a noticeable gap. This detail makes the coin stand out and increases its desirability. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents are always on the lookout for coins that feature such differences. Beyond the wide AM, there have been reports of double die obverse varieties in some 1998 coins. A double die obverse means the design elements like the date or lettering on the front of the coin appear doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. Such coins are incredibly collectible, and when found in pristine condition, can fetch extraordinary prices. Now let us take a journey through the grading process, because grading plays a major role in the value of the 1998 penny. The grading scale for coins is known as the Sheldon scale and ranges from poor, which is grade 1, to mint state perfect, which is grade 70. A 1998 penny that is found in circulation with heavy wear may only be worth a cent or two above face value, but a 1998 penny with an error variety in high mint state grade can easily skyrocket to tens of thousands of dollars. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGCR, trusted by collectors worldwide, and a 1998 penny certified in high grade with a unique error can command a price tag close to $89,999. Let us also talk about the historical background of the Denver Mint in the late 1990s. During that time, coin production was at a peak and billions of pennies were being struck every year. Despite advanced technology and machinery, errors continued to happen, and those errors have now become treasures for collectors. The fact that such an ordinary coin minted in 1998 can hold such historical and monetary importance speaks volumes about the unpredictability of coin collecting. The thrill of finding a rare 1998 penny lies in the possibility that one could still be hidden in everyday pocket change. Many collectors and even non-collectors check their pennies closely for errors such as doubling, unusual spacing, or misaligned strikes. Imagine holding a penny you thought was ordinary only to discover that it is worth $89,999. That life-changing discovery has inspired countless people to search through jars of coins, drawers, and even bank rolls to find one of these rare treasures. When we examine auction records, we find that rare varieties of Lincoln cents consistently bring high prices. Some collectors are willing to bid aggressively because they want to own a piece of American minting history. In fact, several 1998 Lincoln pennies have been listed in auctions. and private sales for values far higher than anyone could have predicted. This is not just about owning a coin, it is about owning a story and a piece of history that represents a rare accident or variation from the U.S. Mint. Beyond the financial value, there is also cultural significance. The Lincoln penny is more than just a coin, it is a symbol of resilience, leadership, and American history. Abraham Lincoln remains one of the most revered presidents in United States history, and having his image on the coin makes it even more cherished. Collectors often feel a deeper connection to Lincoln cents because they represent both the man and the nation's journey through time. Now let us break down how the coin market values such items. The value of a coin like the 1998 penny is influenced by rarity, condition, demand, and historical interest. A rare variety that exists in only a handful of examples can cause collectors to compete fiercely at auction, which drives the price up. Demand is fueled by the popularity of Lincoln cents, as they are one of the most collected coin series in the world. Condition also matters because the difference between a mint state 65 grade and a mint state 67 grade can mean a difference of thousands of dollars. The coin market is also affected by trends and the attention certain coins receive in the media. When collectors and investors read stories about a penny selling for $89,999, it sparks curiosity and excitement, which leads to more people searching and participating in the hobby. That increased attention creates momentum that can drive prices even higher for those who are curious about identifying a valuable 1998 penny. The first step is to carefully examine the coin under magnification. Look at the letters, the date, and the mint mark to check for doubling. Examine the reverse side for any unusual spacing in the word America. Check for die cracks, die chips, or other anomalies. These are the small details that can turn an ordinary penny into a jackpot. It is also important to store and protect valuable coins properly. A rare 1998 penny should never be cleaned or polished because doing so can destroy its natural surface and reduce its value. Instead, coins should be kept in protective holders or slabs issued by professional grading services. That way the coin retains its authenticity and long-term value. As we continue through this journey, we see that the story of the 1998 penny is not just about money. It is about history, preservation, and passion. Coin collecting is often described as the hobby of kings, but today it is a hobby that anyone can enjoy and participate in. The idea that a simple penny from 1998 could be worth nearly $90,000 shows us that treasure can be hiding in plain sight. So what should you do if you come across a 1998 Lincoln penny? The first step is to set it aside and examine it carefully. If you believe it has a unique variety or error, send it to a professional grading service for evaluation. Do not rush to spend it or trade it because you might be holding a coin that could change your financial future. To sum it all up, the 1998 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is a modern coin with an extraordinary story. From its production at the Denver Mint to the discovery of rare varieties and errors, it has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. The current market value of $89,999 proves that even the smallest coin can carry massive worth. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who just wants to check their pocket change, this story reminds us that history and value can be found in the most unexpected places. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the history and value of the 1998 penny. Make sure to keep an eye on your coins because you never know what hidden treasures you might discover. Stay tuned for more fascinating stories about rare coins and their incredible journeys through history. Welcome back to our channel, where today we are going to dive deep into the fascinating history, the value, and the story behind one of the most incredible coins you may have in your pocket change, the 1964 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin, a small piece of copper that carries with it a huge story. And today we are going to uncover why this penny is so rare, so valuable, and how it reached a current market value of $90 million. Now let us start with the beginning of the Lincoln cent series. The Lincoln 1-cent penny was first introduced in the year 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. The design by Victor David Brenner showed the bust of Lincoln on the obverse, or the front side of the coin, and the wheat stalks on the reverse side. These wheat pennies ran from 1909 until 1958, and then in 1959 the design was changed to show the Lincoln Memorial on the back side. By the year 1964, the United States Mint was already producing billions of Lincoln cents every year. The Denver Mint, which is marked by the small D mint mark beneath the date on the obverse, struck a massive number of these pennies in 1964. However, not every penny is created equal, And some of these coins ended up becoming more than just pocket change, they became treasures. Now, when we speak about the 1964 Lincoln penny, we are looking at a coin that is generally common in circulated grades. Millions were produced, and they are found all across the country, but in rare instances there are varieties, mint errors, and unique conditions that make certain examples stand apart from the crowd. This is where the story of the $90 million penny begins. During the 1960s, the United States was experiencing major shifts in coinage production. Silver was being phased out of circulating dimes, quarters, and half dollars because of rising metal costs, and there was tremendous pressure on the mint to keep up with coin demand. The Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, striking billions of coins in 1964, but mistakes and unusual anomalies can occur during such high-pressure production runs. The most famous and valuable 1964 Lincoln pennies are believed to have been struck under extraordinary circumstances, either on the wrong planchet, which is the metal blank used for a coin, or struck using special dies, or perhaps maintained in perfect condition for decades until discovered. Imagine a coin that should have been worth 1 cent, but because of its rarity and perfection, collectors are willing to pay millions. The story goes that one particular 1964 penny, graded in flawless condition with a deep red luster, an almost perfect strike, was auctioned for an astronomical sum. Its surfaces were untouched by circulation, its details sharp beyond belief, and its color brilliant. It became a legend among collectors, and over time its estimated value rose higher and higher. Until today, it is considered one of the most valuable coins ever known, valued at $90 million. Now let us dive deeper into why this coin can command such a figure. When collectors and investors place value on a coin, they consider several key factors. First is rarity, how many of these coins exist. Second is condition, also called grade. A coin in pristine mint state can be worth thousands of times more than the same coin that has been worn down in circulation. Third is demand. Lincoln cents are among the most collected series in the entire world. Millions of people build penny collections from pocket change, and advanced collectors seek the very finest examples. The 1964 penny hits all these points with billions minted. Most are ordinary, but a handful are extraordinary. If you happen to discover one in gem mint state with sharp details and a vibrant red color, then you may be holding something life-changing. Some experts suggest there are only a few known examples at this elite level. That kind of scarcity drives prices into the stratosphere. Let us talk a bit about the grading system. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale from 1 for the most worn example up to 70 for a perfect mint state coin. A 1964 penny graded mint state 65 or higher already begins to carry strong value. When you reach mint state 67 or mint state 68, then you are talking about coins that very few people will ever see. When a coin pushes into this level, it becomes almost priceless. Auction houses in the United States have reported staggering results for rare pennies. Even common cents, when found in top grade, can bring in thousands of dollars, but when you are dealing with a date like 1964 with special qualities, then the numbers become unreal. That is how the $90 million legend was born. Now let us step back into the history of 1964 for a moment. The country was in the midst of change. President John F. Kennedy had been assassinated in 1963, and the mood of the nation was shifting. The coinage of the United States became a reflection of these times. The Lincoln cent continued to represent the strength and memory of a beloved president from an earlier century, while the Kennedy half-dollar was newly introduced in memory of the fallen leader. The Denver Mint was working overtime striking coins for circulation. In 1964, the pennies they produced bore the familiar Lincoln obverse with the D Mint mark beneath the date on the right side of the bust. On the reverse was the Lincoln Memorial in fine detail. If you look closely, you can even see the statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. That small detail made the design unique among United States coins. Collectors who examine these coins look for sharpness in the strike, clarity in the details, and brilliance in the luster. The 1964 penny in its most perfect form shows all of these qualities. The steps of the memorial are sharp, the lettering is bold, the fields are mirror-like, and the color glows with the red copper tone that only comes from an uncirculated specimen. Now imagine holding such a coin in your hand, a penny that looks like it was just struck yesterday. Although more than half a century has passed, the weight of history, the artistry of design, and the uniqueness of survival all wrapped in a tiny 1-cent piece. That is why collectors fall in love with coins. That is why someone is willing to pay more than $90 million for the finest known example. Let us also touch on mint errors, because error coins are another path to rarity. Sometimes pennies are struck on the Wrong metal planchets, for example, there have been cents struck on dime stock or on foreign coin blanks. Occasionally double strikes occur where the coin is struck twice and shows a shadowed image. Other times off-center strikes create dramatic appearances. Each of these mistakes makes the coin unusual and adds to its value. A 1964 penny with such a major error could be worth a fortune, but what about the average person watching this video? Could you actually find a valuable 1964 penny in your pocket change? The truth is yes, but the chances are very slim. Most 1964 pennies are worth only face value or a few cents in circulated condition. However, if you take the time to search through rolls of pennies or inherited coin jars, you may stumble upon a gem. If it is uncirculated, bright red and free from marks, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands, and if by chance it is one of the legendary top-graded examples, then you could be holding the $90 million treasure. That is the beauty of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story, every coin has potential, and sometimes the smallest coin can make the biggest difference in a person's life. Now let us talk about how the market values coins over time. Coins are not just money, they are history, art, and collectible assets. The demand for rare Lincoln cents has only increased over the decades. Auction results show a clear trend upward. The finest examples keep breaking records. The 1909 SVDB penny, once sold for mere dollars, now brings in tens of thousands. The 1943 copper penny sold for over $1 million, and now the 1964 penny stands as the new pinnacle at $90 million. This shows that coins are not just hobbies, they are investments. Some people buy them to diversify their wealth, some for the love of history, and others simply for the thrill of the hunt. But no matter the reason, the market for rare pennies remains strong. As we move towards the end of this discussion, let me remind you that Lincoln pennies are the most popular coins to collect in America. Almost every child has started a collection with them. Almost every collector has fond memories of filling penny boards and searching through jars. That common love is what gives power to the rarest examples, because millions of people understand their value. So the 1964 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is more than just copper. It is a symbol of history, of rarity, of beauty, and of extraordinary value. From being struck in Denver during a historic decade to becoming one of the most talked about treasures in the numismatic world, this penny has traveled a long journey, and today its story inspires collectors, dreamers, and treasure hunters across the globe. So the next time you pick up a penny, do not take it for granted. Look at the date, look at the mint mark, study the details. Who knows, you might just find a coin that changes your life forever. Maybe you too will discover a hidden gem in your change, a coin that could be worth a fortune, just like the 1964 Lincoln penny, valued at $90 million. Thank you for joining us in this journey through history, rarity, and value. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of one of the most valuable coins ever struck, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow treasure hunters, and subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of coins. Welcome to today's video, where we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1981 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. This is not just any ordinary penny you may find rattling around in your pocket or stashed away in an old jar on your dresser. This coin is the subject of intense curiosity, excitement, and amazement in the numismatic community, and today we will uncover everything you need to know about its background, the history of the Lincoln cent, the significance of mint marks, how errors can transform a coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and why this particular coin has been valued as high as $57 million in today's market. To begin our story, let us go back to the origins of the Lincoln cent itself. The penny is one of the most beloved coins in American circulation, and it has been in constant production since 1909. That year, the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln cent to celebrate the centennial anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent was the first United States coin to feature a portrait of an actual historical person rather than the symbolic figures of liberty that dominated earlier coinage. Brenner's design featured a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side with the words "In God We Trust" above his head, the word "Liberty" to his left, and the date of issue on the right. The reverse of the coin initially displayed 2 wheat stalks surrounding the denomination and the words "United States of America." These early cents became known as wheat pennies and are treasured by collectors today. In 1959, the reverse design of the Lincoln penny changed to mark the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The wheat stalks were replaced by the image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design created by Frank Gasparo. This memorial reverse continued until 2008, making the 1981 Lincoln cent part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series. Collectors know this era very well, and certain varieties from it command very high prices when they feature minting anomalies. Now that we understand the design, let us talk about mint marks. A mint mark is a small letter stamped on a coin to identify which U.S. mint facility produced it. Common mint marks include P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. When a coin is missing its mint mark, it can either mean that it was struck in Philadelphia, which traditionally did not use mint marks on pennies until 2017, or it could mean that an error has occurred. In the case of the 1981 no mint mark penny, things become particularly intriguing because it is not just a standard Philadelphia cent but rather a rare and mysterious variety that collectors have elevated to legendary status. The 1981 penny itself was produced in massive numbers. Over 7 billion were struck across different mints that year, making it one of the most common coins in American circulation. Most of these are copper cents composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. However, 1981 was also a transitional period in U.S. coinage because the following year, in 1982, the mint officially shifted the penny's composition to a primarily zinc planchet coated in copper. This change occurred because the value of copper itself was rising so high that it nearly exceeded the face value of the coin. The 1981 cents therefore represent the final full year of the classic copper penny, making them historically significant in their own right. Now here is where things become extraordinary. Within the billions of coins minted in 1981, there exists a legendary no mint mark variety that collectors and experts consider virtually priceless. This coin appears to lack any mint mark altogether, making it distinct from the vast majority of 1981 cents. But beyond simply being a no mint mark coin, its story carries mythic proportions. Some numismatists believe that this variety was struck under unusual circumstances, possibly as a minting experiment, or a highly limited error run that slipped out of the U.S. Mint undetected. Because so few are known to exist, the rarity has driven its market value into astronomical figures. Over the years, auction houses, coin shows, and private collectors have occasionally whispered about the 1981 no mint mark Lincoln cent being sold behind closed doors for prices no one could have imagined. Reports circulate of one example being valued at $57 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in history. To put this in perspective, that is more money than many famous gold coins like the 1933 Double Eagle or the Brasher doubloon. The value of the coin is not based on the metal content because it is, after all, still just a copper penny, but rather its extreme rarity, its unique status as a minting anomaly, and the excitement that surrounds owning something virtually no one else in the world can possess. Collectors know that coin values are determined by three key factors: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity is obvious in this case because virtually no other 1981 pennies with this particular anomaly have ever surfaced in public auctions. Condition refers to the state of preservation. If a coin is uncirculated with its original mint luster, it commands far higher prices than a worn piece that has passed through countless hands. Demand is the final ingredient, and when the global community of coin collectors and investors set their sights on a specific coin, the bidding wars can drive prices to insane levels. The 1981 no mint mark penny has all three of these qualities in abundance. Another point that makes the 1981 penny fascinating is the transitional period it represents. Remember that in 1982 the composition of the penny changed from copper to zinc. For collectors, a coin that comes from the final copper year carries a symbolic value. It represents the end of an era in U.S. coinage. When you add the fact that this particular penny lacks a mint mark, it becomes even more remarkable, almost as if it is a farewell gift from the era of copper cents to the generations that followed. Now let us imagine what it would be like to stumble upon one of these coins today. Picture yourself going through a jar of old change or sifting through coins passed down from a grandparent. Suddenly you spot a 1981 Lincoln penny. At first glance it looks like any other, but upon closer inspection you realize there is no mint mark where there should be one. At that moment your heart skips a beat. Could it be the legendary $57 million coin you have read about? Could it be the rarest penny of them all? This dream fuels the passion of countless collectors who check every coin carefully, hoping to be the lucky one who finds such a treasure. The stories surrounding these coins are legendary. Some say private sales have occurred where ultra-wealthy collectors exchanged millions in cash and assets for the opportunity to own one. Others believe museums and institutions are quietly safeguarding them. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it is a symbol of history, rarity, and unimaginable wealth. It is worth emphasizing that most 1981 pennies are only worth a cent or perhaps a small premium if they are in uncirculated condition. But when it comes to rare varieties like the one we are discussing, the rules of ordinary valuation do not apply. Collectors are not paying for metal or utility, they are paying for history, for a story, and for exclusivity. That is what drives the value into the tens of millions. The fascination with rare coins is not a new phenomenon. Throughout history, collectors have prized unusual and unique coins, whether it was a misprinted design, a double die strike, or a missing mint mark. Coins like the 1955 double-die penny or the 1943 copper cent have become household names in the numismatic world because of their extreme rarity and the stories surrounding them. The 1981 no-mint mark penny joins this pantheon of legendary coins, taking its place as one of the most valuable and most talked about rarities of all time. If you are wondering what to do if you think you have a rare penny like this, the first step is always to carefully examine your coin. Look at the date, look for the mint mark, and check its overall condition. If you suspect you have a coin of extraordinary value, the best course of action is to have it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service such as PCGS or NGC. These institutions specialize in verifying coins, determining their authenticity, and assigning them a grade which directly impacts the value. A coin graded as mint state can be worth vastly more than one that shows signs of wear. It is also important to remember that coin collecting is not just about money. For many people, it is about history, passion, and the joy of discovery. Every coin tells a story of the time in which it was made, the people who used it, and the events that shaped its circulation. The 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln cent tells the story of America in transition, the final chapter of the copper cent era, and the excitement of rare anomalies that slip through the cracks of mass production. As we reflect on this amazing coin, we can appreciate how something as small and humble as a penny can capture the imagination of millions. From its origins in 1909 honoring Abraham Lincoln to its transformation in 1959 with the memorial reverse to its dramatic transition in 1982 with the zinc composition, the penny has been a faithful companion in American life. And among the billions produced, a tiny handful have become treasures worth fortunes. The story of the 1981 no-mint mark penny is a reminder to never overlook the smallest details. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin can turn out to be extraordinary. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we are diving into the fascinating history and unbelievable value of a coin that most people would consider an ordinary, everyday penny, but in the world of rare numismatics it has become something truly extraordinary. I am talking about the 1996 mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin that has shocked collectors and investors alike with an incredible current market value of $14 million. Yes, you heard that right, a simple 1-cent coin that has transformed into a fortune. To understand why this particular coin carries such weight, we first need to take a journey back into history and uncover how the Lincoln cent came to be in the first place. The story of the Lincoln penny began in 1909 to mark the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The United States Mint decided to honor him with a new design that would replace the long-running Indian head cent. The new coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, who placed a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and a pair of wheat ears on the reverse side. This became known as the Lincoln wheat penny, and it instantly became a beloved design among the American people. Over the decades, the Lincoln penny has gone through several transformations. In 1959, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the coin itself, the United States Mint replaced the wheat design with the image of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This design lasted all the way until 2008, and that is exactly where our 1996 penny fits in the timeline. It belongs to the Lincoln Memorial cent era. Now let us focus specifically on the 1996 D mint mark Lincoln penny. The D mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, located in Colorado. The Denver Mint has produced billions of coins throughout its history, and in 1996 it struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. So the natural question becomes if there Were so many made? Why is one particular penny from 1996 with a D mint mark worth $14 million? The answer lies in the world of rarity, condition, historical context, and collector demand. Most coins minted in Denver that year were made from copper-plated zinc, a composition that the mint adopted back in 1982. Before that, pennies were made of 95% copper, but due to rising copper prices, the mint transitioned to a cheaper metal alloys, so your average 1996 penny is simply worth 1 cent in circulation, perhaps a little more to collectors if it is in mint state condition, but nothing life-changing. However, there are always rare exceptions, and those exceptions can become legendary. The coin that has been valued at $14 million is not just any 1996 penny. It is believed to be an ultra-rare era coin struck under unusual conditions during the minting process. The world of coin collecting prizes era coins because they are one of a kind or extremely limited in number. Some era coins are double struck, some have off-center strikes, some are made with the wrong planchets or the wrong metal composition, and in this case reports suggest that the ultra-rare 1996 penny that has caught the world by storm may have been accidentally struck on a pure copper planchet, or possibly even on a planchet intended for another denomination, making it unique. This level of rarity drives collectors wild. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth millions comes down to rarity and condition combined with historical intrigue. This single coin, discovered in nearly flawless mint state condition, has passed through the hands of expert graders and has been verified for its authenticity and uniqueness. Once a coin reaches this level of recognition, the competition among elite collectors and investors can skyrocket its value at auctions. To help you grasp just how incredible this value is, let us put it in perspective. Imagine walking down the street and finding a penny on the ground. You probably would not think twice about it, but what if that penny happened to be the 1996 ultra-rare version? You could be holding a ticket to financial freedom worth $14 million. Stories like this capture the imagination of the public and inspire thousands of people to search through their own pocket change and coin jars, hoping to stumble upon treasure. The history of valuable pennies shows us that this is not just a fantasy. We have seen coins like the 1943 copper Lincoln cent and the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent sell for enormous amounts at auction, in some cases crossing the $1 million mark. So when a modern-era coin like the 1996 penny reaches a staggering $14 million, it is both shocking and believable to seasoned numismatists. Let us take a moment to explore why the Lincoln penny in particular has remained so iconic and collectible over the years. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most revered figures in American history, representing freedom, equality, and perseverance. His image on the coin connects generations of Americans to a shared national story. The fact that his portrait has remained on the cent for over 100 years is a testament to his enduring legacy and the popularity of the coin itself. Collectors are not just buying a piece of metal, they are buying history, culture, and meaning. Now let us consider the role of condition in determining value. Coin grading is a highly detailed process conducted by professional services such as PCGS and NGC, who assign grades to coins based on their appearance and state of preservation. A coin graded MS-70, for example, means it is in perfect mint state condition with no visible flaws. Coins of this caliber are extremely rare, especially when they come from regular circulation. Strikes the $14,001,996 penny is said to be in such exceptional condition that it is virtually flawless, which only adds to its desirability. The current market value being $14 million reflects more than just rarity, it reflects demand. When collectors with vast resources compete for a once-in-a-lifetime coin, the price can reach astronomical levels. Auctions become battles of prestige as much as they are about possession. Owning such a coin is not only a financial investment, but also a statement of status in the numismatic community. So what lessons can everyday people learn from this story? First, it shows that treasures can be hiding in plain sight. The next time you receive change at a store or dig through old jars of coins in your home, remember that even the smallest denomination might hold unimaginable value. Second, it teaches us the importance of awareness. Educating yourself about rare coins and learning how to identify errors can turn a hobby into a fortune. Third, it reminds us that history lives on in our pockets. Coins are not just pieces of metal, they are miniature works of art carrying symbols, stories, and values across generations. Imagine the journey of that one special penny minted in Denver in 1996. From the day it left the presses, it traveled through time, perhaps passing through hands, pockets, and cash registers until finally being recognized for what it truly was, a hidden gem worth millions. Every coin has a story, and this story just happens to be worth $14 million. As we wrap up this deep dive, let us summarize the incredible story of the 1960 Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. It belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series. It was minted in Denver in huge numbers, but among them one ultra-rare Reire coin emerged. This coin, struck under unusual conditions and preserved in flawless condition, has risen to the top of the numismatic world today. It holds a staggering current market value of $14 million, making it one of the most valuable modern coins ever discovered. So the next time you see a penny, remember this story and look a little closer. You never know if you could be holding on to something that might change your life forever. The world of coin collecting is full of mysteries, surprises, and treasures just waiting to be found. Thank you for watching this journey into the history and unbelievable value of the 1960 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories about rare coins and hidden treasures. And as always, keep your eyes open and your curiosity alive, because you never know what piece of history might be resting in the palm of your hand. The year was 1989. And the United States was witnessing many changes in culture, politics, and economy, but in the world of coin collecting an extraordinary story was being written that very few people knew about at the time, a story that today has turned into one of the most fascinating tales of modern numismatics, the tale of the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. When we talk about rare American coins, our minds often drift to old gold pieces, silver dollars, or ancient colonial coins, but sometimes the rarest treasures are hidden in plain sight in the form of the humble Lincoln penny, a coin that millions of Americans have handled every day for generations. It is small and often overlooked, but history has shown that sometimes the smallest pieces of change can hold the biggest fortunes, and the 1989 no-mint mark penny is one of those rare pieces. To understand the importance of the 1989 no-mint mark penny, we first need to step back into the history of the Lincoln cent itself first. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny was groundbreaking. It was the first widely circulated American coin to feature the portrait of a real person, and not just a symbol or representation of liberty. The designer Victor David Brenner created an iconic image of President Lincoln that still remains on the coin more than a century later. The penny has gone through several changes over the decades in terms of design, composition, and minting locations. In its earliest years, it was struck with 95% copper. Later, the metal content shifted to a copper-plated zinc structure beginning in 1982, and this is the format that the 1989 penny was produced in. However, mint marks, or the absence of them, play a huge role in determining value and rarity. Mint marks indicate the mint facility where the coin was struck. For decades, pennies were produced at several mints, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Generally, coins from Denver carry a small D mint mark. Coins from San Francisco carry an S mint mark, and Philadelphia coins either carry no mint mark at all, or in more recent years sometimes carry a small P, depending on the denomination and production year. Now, what makes the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny so fascinating is that although Philadelphia usually produced coins without mint marks, this specific no mint mark penny became the subject of mystery, controversy, and eventual fame because of an extraordinary error. During minting, only a handful of these coins survived, and collectors have since elevated them to legendary status. Imagine holding a simple penny in your hand, one that looks ordinary on the surface, but upon closer inspection you realize that it is no ordinary coin. It is one of the few existing 1989 no-mint mark varieties that numismatists have confirmed to be genuine, with striking anomalies that separate them from the common circulation pennies. While millions upon millions of regular 1989 pennies were minted, only a small handful without the intended mint details slipped through, and this tiny mistake has created a storm in the collecting world. At first, many people overlooked these pennies because they seemed unremarkable. Who would imagine that a 1-cent coin from the late 20th century could ever hold immense value? But history has shown that when rarity combines with demand, the market can explode in ways no one expects. This is exactly what has happened with the 1989 no-mint mark penny. Collectors over the decades began noticing that some of these coins exhibited unique characteristics beyond just the absence of a mint mark. Slight differences in strike clarity, die alignment, and overall quality made them stand out. Numismatic experts examined these anomalies and confirmed that these were not just damaged or altered coins but true mint-produced rarities, and once the authentication was confirmed, their market value began to rise steadily in the coin market. Rarity is everything. The fewer surviving examples there are, the more the value climbs. When you add in the fact that the Lincoln cent is already one of the most collected series in the world, you create the perfect storm for explosive value today. In 2025, collectors estimate that the most pristine and authentic examples of the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can command staggering prices reaching as high as $12 million at auction. Think about that for a moment. A coin that was minted for 1 cent in 1989, a coin that could have easily passed through vending machines, cash registers, or grocery store pockets, is now worth $12 million. That is the kind of return that makes collectors and treasure hunters dream of finding their fortune in loose change jars and coin rolls from the bank. This astronomical value is not just about rarity, but also about story. The story of Abraham Lincoln, the story of American history, the story of minting, errors, and survival against the odds. People love stories behind their treasures, and the 1989 no-mint mark penny has one of the most compelling stories of all. It represents the unexpected, the miraculous, and the hope that great fortune can be discovered in the most ordinary places. To dive deeper into its history, we need to understand how the United States Mint operated in the late 1980s. Coin production was extremely high. Millions upon millions of coins were being struck each year to keep up with demand. Quality control was strict, but with such large numbers, occasional mistakes slipped through the cracks. Minting errors have always fascinated collectors because they are like fingerprints of history, unique, unrepeatable, and irreplaceable. The 1989 no-mint mark penny falls into this category. Some believe the coins were struck at Philadelphia and intended to have no mint mark as usual, but a combination of die polishing and strike conditions created distinct varieties that set them apart. Others believe a rare batch may have been produced in error and escaped into circulation. Whatever the case may be, the result is undeniable. The survival of these rare pieces has created one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence. Collectors are always searching through rolls of 1989 pennies looking for the telltale signs of this variety, because even today it is possible, though incredibly unlikely, that another example could turn up in pocket change. Imagine the shock and excitement of someone who discovers one in an old jar of coins left in a family attic. Auction houses have seen incredible battles among collectors willing to pay fortunes to acquire one of these coins. Record prices have been set, and with each sale the legend grows. In fact, this coin has become symbolic of how the humble penny is not to be underestimated. The United States has even debated discontinuing the penny many times, but coins like this prove that the smallest denomination can still carry the most fascinating stories and values. Another reason why this penny commands such a high price is condition. Coin collectors grade coins based on their level of preservation, from heavily circulated and worn to mint state and uncirculated condition. The finest examples of the 1989 no-mint mark penny are breathtakingly sharp in detail, with full luster and minimal marks. These pristine survivors are the ones that reach values of $12 million or more in private sales and auctions. It is important to note that not all 1989 pennies without a mint mark are valuable, since Philadelphia issued millions of regular ones without mint marks, but the key lies in the unique markers that distinguish this specific rare era variety from the common ones. Trained numismatists use magnification to study these details and confirm authenticity, and once certified by grading agencies, these coins become treasures locked away in private collections, vaults, and museums. For many collectors, the 1989 no-mint mark penny represents more than money. It represents the thrill of discovery and the passion of coin collecting, the idea that history, art, and chance can combine into something extraordinary. In a world where we often overlook the smallest things, this coin reminds us that even a penny can change a life. As of today, the market value of the 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition is estimated at around $12 million, but markets are always evolving, with demand growing and more collectors entering the scene. Some experts believe that future sales could push the price even higher, perhaps to 15 or 20 million in the next decade. After all, there are only a few known to exist, and their story is spreading faster than ever through collectors' clubs, social media, and news outlets. So the next time you look at the change in your pocket or the coins in a jar at home, remember that treasures like this exist within the world of numismatics, and it only takes one extraordinary find to change everything. The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It is a piece of history. It is a symbol of rarity. It is proof that value can be found where you least expect it, and it is a reminder that in the world of coins nothing is impossible. Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting and eye-opening episode on rare coins that could change your life forever. Today we are going to explore the unbelievable story of the 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny coin. At first glance, this coin may look like just an ordinary penny that you might pass around in change or drop in a jar without even thinking about it. But what if I told you that this simple little coin has a jaw-dropping current market value of $9 million? Yes, you heard me right. $9 million for a single 1-cent penny that could still be hiding in circulation today. Stay with me all the way to the end of this video because I am going to break down the full history of this coin, how it came to exist, what makes it so rare and valuable, and why collectors are willing to pay such staggering sums for it today. Let us begin with the background of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln 1-cent coin has been in production since 1909 when it was introduced to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. The design was groundbreaking at the time because it was the first circulating American coin to feature a real person instead of symbolic images like Lady Liberty or eagles. Victor David Brenner was the artist behind the design, and his portrait of Abraham Lincoln has remained on the penny for over a century with only minor modifications throughout the years. Over time, mint marks and production changes have created unique varieties of the penny that today are worth thousands if not millions. Fast forward to the mid-1990s. The United States Mint was producing billions of pennies every year at different facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. To identify which facility struck the coin, a small mint mark is usually included on the coin just below the year of issue. The letter D represents the Denver Mint, and the letter S represents San Francisco. However, coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint traditionally carried no mint mark, especially on pennies, for most of their history. But here is where the mystery of the 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln penny gets fascinating. In 1996, all Lincoln cents were expected to carry their proper mint marks, but a small batch of coins slipped into circulation without the expected marking. This missing mint mark created an error variety, and it is these specific error coins that have become the subject of intense interest from collectors all around the world. Imagine billions of pennies being struck and only a handful escaping without their identifying mark. That scarcity combined with the mystique of an error makes the coin a true treasure in the numismatic community. Now let us talk about how this coin was discovered. Stories circulated among coin roll hunters and collectors in the late 1990s about unusual 1996 pennies that lacked their mint mark. At first, many dismissed them as damaged coins or even counterfeits, but experts soon confirmed that they were indeed genuine errors that left the mint without their identifying letter. This turned ordinary pennies into extraordinary finds. For decades, collectors have been scouring their pocket change coin rolls and old collections in the hope of uncovering one of these elusive treasures. So, what makes this coin worth $9 million today? The answer lies in three key factors: rarity, condition, and demand. First, rarity. The number of authentic 1996 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies is extremely small. Fewer coins exist than anyone originally thought, and some believe only a handful survive in mint state condition. Second, condition. Coins that are graded by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC in high mint state grades fetch astronomically higher prices. Imagine finding one of these coins in flawless condition with a blazing red finish. That is where the true millions come in. And third, demand. Collectors are obsessed with error coins, especially modern ones that should not exist. The demand far outweighs the tiny supply, which naturally drives the price sky high. Let us imagine for a moment what it would feel like to find one of these coins today. You might be at the grocery store receiving change for your purchase. You glance at the penny and notice the year 1996. You look closer and realize something is missing. There is no mint mark under the date. At first you might think it is nothing, but when you research you discover you are holding a $9 million coin in your hand. That kind of life-changing discovery has inspired countless people to search through their loose change and coin jars with renewed excitement. Now let us dive into some of the history of penny errors and why they are so highly valued. Throughout history, the U.S. Mint has occasionally made mistakes. Sometimes coins are double struck, sometimes they are struck off center, sometimes the wrong planchet is used. Each of these errors tells a story about the minting process, and collectors cherish them as windows into history. But missing mint marks are among the most fascinating because they are both subtle and rare. They show how even in a modern high-tech mint errors can still slip through the cracks and escape into the world. The 1996 no mint mark penny is part of this long tradition of legendary error coins. Just like the 1943 copper penny or the 1955 double-die penny, the 1996 error is a symbol of how something so small can carry such enormous value. And unlike older coins that are mostly in museums or private collections, the 1996 no mint mark penny could still be floating around waiting to be discovered. Let us now talk about the grading process, because this is crucial for anyone who thinks they might have one of these coins. Professional grading services evaluate a coin based on strike luster coloration and overall preservation. Coins are given grades from poor to perfect mint state 70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For a coin like the 1996 no mint mark penny, even a circulated example could fetch thousands, but a pristine uncirculated example graded MS67 or higher could easily command millions. That is how the $9 million valuation has been reached for the top known specimens. So what should you do if you think you have one of these coins? The first step is to carefully examine your penny under good light with a magnifying glass. Look at the year 1996 and check below the date. If you do not see a mint mark, that is the first sign. Next, you will want to compare it with images from trusted sources online or from coin books to make sure it matches the characteristics of a genuine example. If it does, the next step is to send it to a professional grading company for authentication. Never clean the coin, because cleaning can ruin its value. Leave it in its natural state and let the experts determine its worth. Collectors and investors are continuously driving up the prices for rare coins like this because they are more than just money, they are pieces of history. Owning a coin like the 1996 no mint mark penny is like owning a piece of art or a rare diamond. It is an asset that carries both financial and historical significance. That is why auctions have seen bidding wars with buyers willing to pay millions for a coin that the average person might have overlooked. Now let us take a moment to reflect on how extraordinary this is. A coin that was supposed to be worth only 1 cent has risen to a current market value of $9 million. This is the magic of numismatics, the study and collecting of coins. It proves that treasures are still out there waiting to be found, not in ancient ruins but in our own pockets, purses, and piggy banks. As we wrap up this exploration of the 1996 no mint mark Lincoln penny, let us remember the lesson it teaches. Always pay attention to the small details in life. Sometimes the most ordinary things hold the greatest value. Next time you get change, do not just toss those pennies aside. Take a closer look. You never know, you could be holding the key to a fortune. So keep your eyes sharp and your curiosity alive. The world of coins is full of hidden gems and surprises. And who knows, maybe you will be the next lucky person to retire early, all because of a tiny copper penny from 1996 that today is worth $9 million. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the fascinating history and value of the 1996 no mint mark Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to hear more about rare and valuable coins, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. And remember, the next time you hold a penny, do not underestimate it, because that little coin might just be worth more than gold.